Hi ladies, welcome back to Fertility Mom. We're going to get straight into it today and talk about how to improve egg quality fast. We're talking in just a few months. We're doing the right things. We're going to be able to improve your egg quality and get pregnant fast. Okay, ladies, we're just going to get straight into it today and talk about how to improve egg quality the fastest. And I'm going to give you 3 of my best tips, maybe a bonus 4th if this video doesn't run too long. And we're just going to get straight into it. So here we go. The first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're decreasing and handling any sources of inflammation that are going on in your body. I'm sure you've heard me talk about inflammation here on this channel before, and I absolutely want to drive this point home that inflammation is not random. Your body is incredibly smart and very resilient, and it doesn't do random things for no reason. So whenever we're dealing with symptoms of inflammation or lab results of inflammation, or sometimes both, we really need to take a look at what is actually causing the inflammation to happen. And there can be multiple different ways that is happening in your body, and it can happen differently for every person. So we have to kind of look and see what's going on with you. Why is this happening for you? Now, some of you may have more inflammation than others. If you're dealing with any kind of autoimmunity whatsoever, we really have to take a very close look. What is triggering your immune system? What are these sources of inflammation for you? Now, if you are new to this, if you don't really understand it, if you're not really sure, that's totally okay. I highly recommend you come to my free masterclass. You can sign up the link down below, completely free. We actually dive much deeper into inflammation, talk about what are some of the sources, how can we really hone in on this, and what is the strategy to help start getting rid of this for you. Now, the important thing with inflammation is not that we mask it, right? We don't want to just start taking a whole bunch of different antioxidants and a whole bunch of different things and think that that's taking care of the problem. We really want to make sure that, yeah, we're going to be taking some of the supplements depending on what's happening for you. We'll be taking some things to help with that, but we really also need to come from the back end and figure out, well, what is causing it in the first place, and start to get rid of the actual flow of inflammation coming into the body. So this is actually a really, really big one, especially for egg quality, because it can really start to degrade the quality of the cell itself. And if you come to the masterclass and you've listened to my other videos, you know this can have a really big impact on the quality and energy making capacity of your mitochondria, which make up what egg quality is. So when we're looking at egg quality, we have to look at what do we need to do to increase the quality, the number, the energy making capacity of our mitochondria, not just in your egg cells, but every cell, right? We can't just spot treat egg quality. We're looking at the entire body. Inflammation is going to be one of the most important key factors that you look at. We need to know what's causing it and what's causing it for your body, and we need to know, well, how can we really decrease that for you? The second thing that is really important to look at, especially when we're trying to improve egg quality as fast as possible, is making sure that we're maintaining a really healthy and controlled blood glucose level. Now, this applies to you whether you suffer from any kind of insulin resistance, PCOS, diabetes, or whatever. Even if you have never been diagnosed with these things, it's still something you need to look at. It's still a dietary piece that we need to look at. So you'll obviously be looking at lab levels for this, but you're also going to want to make sure that you're balancing your macronutrients when you're eating as well, making sure you're having enough protein, enough fat, and, depending on what's happening in your body, the right level of carbohydrate. I never ever say, oh, this diet is the best diet for fertility, because everybody's body is different, everybody's system works differently, and people need different things. So it's really about figuring out what that is for you. Now, one of the best things that I do recommend to help control blood sugar throughout the day is making sure that when you sit down for breakfast, you're having at least 20 to 30 grams of a good protein source at that time. Now, this is going to help curb cravings throughout the day, but it's also going to keep you nice and steady as well in terms of blood glucose. You're not going to have this huge spike up in the morning, and when you have that huge spike up in the morning, that actually sets the tone for the day. So if we keep that spike like just a little bump in the morning and it comes right back down to normal, then we're doing a really good job at controlling that blood glucose straight away from the morning start. I have a lot more information coming here on this channel and through my email list about blood glucose control. I've been doing a lot of experimentation on this with a different company called NutriSense. So we're going to be going deep dive into blood glucose over the next several months. So make sure not only are you subscribed here on this channel, but you need to also be on my email list. you can head down to the links down below, head to my website, grab the free fertility boosting guide, and you'll get onto my email list, and I'll be sending you all sorts of free things through there as well. The third thing that I recommend for how to improve your egg quality as fast as possible is going to be a supplement regimen. Now, this is going to be different for every single person. Every woman that I work with gets a completely different supplement protocol for them because their body is different. However, I do recommend a foundational base for everybody, and that's going to include a really high quality prenatal with at least 800 micrograms of methylfolate. Now, this will vary person to person, especially if you're somebody who has the MTHFR gene and or you react to that form of methylfolate. But for general recommendations, a really high quality prenatal with at least 800 micrograms of methylfolate in it. I also recommend a really high quality blended probiotic of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. You're going to want to add that into your regimen. Magnesium glycinate, everybody needs this. This is something that we need to replete daily so that we're actually not running out of it. It's really low in our food stores and our body needs it for so many functions. So we need to have it every single day. Another thing is CoQ10. I pretty much recommend this for almost everybody. Varying doses, varying times of day, depending on what you're doing. But for the most part, if you're trying to improve egg quality, you're probably going to be in the 400 milligram or 600 milligram dosing per day, split into 2 or 3 doses depending on how much you're taking. Now, you're going to want to make sure that CoQ10 you take before, like your last dose of the day needs to happen before about 2 p.m. so that it doesn't screw with your sleep. All right, if it's screwing with your sleep, you need to either cut down the dose or take it earlier in the day. And of course, we must be taking a vitamin D3 and K2 combination. I usually like to give that in liquid form because I know you're probably taking 77 different pills. And if we can decrease the amount of pills we're taking, we'll take it, right? So I love that in a liquid form. Make sure you're dosing based on what's happening at your lab level, okay? If you're well below where we need you to be, which is around that 50 to 70 range, then you need to bump up your dose. If you're running too high, you're gonna decrease your dose. So this is dosed according to what's happening for you. I never recommend a blanket dose for anybody, but make sure that you are at least watching your D3 on labs and taking the appropriate amount. Now, that's the base. That's kind of like the foundation. There's going to be a ton of other supplements that can be added to your protocol depending on what's happening for you. You need to be careful with this. You need to be very, very careful with what supplements you are taking. And I recommend that if you're going to be taking a lot of them, add them in one at a time so that you understand what effect that had. If you're having a reaction, you can just back off that one thing and not be like, well, I was taking 7 different things. I have no idea which one I'm having a reaction to. So make sure you take it nice and slow with that. The other thing is that you have to be careful with certain things. You can't be taking iodine without the appropriate amount of selenium because that's protective. You don't want to be taking too much zinc because that can deplete your copper. There's a million different examples of this. So you really have to be careful with what you're taking and the doses that you're taking them in. Don't just start taking 30 different random things all at once. Be careful with how you do this. And I tried to be really fast for you guys, so I'm hoping that we can get this bonus one in there and you're not dying right now listening to me drone on. But I'm going to give you the bonus one. If you really want to have a good effect on improving your egg quality, then we need to have a sustainable and consistent plan. Something that you can do for longer than a couple of weeks. If you're changing your routine and you're changing your regimen every single month, there's no consistency happening in your body, and cells don't change that fast. We need to give the body time to take in what you're doing and make the appropriate changes. So it has to be a sustainable plan that you can be consistent with over long periods of time. And by that, I mean at least 3 or 4 months, ideally 6 to 9 months. We want to make sure that the plan you're on is something you can continue with for the long term and not drive yourself completely crazy. So my bonus tip to you is make sure it's sustainable and be consistent. Okay, ladies, I really tried to make that fast for you. I've gotten a lot of feedback saying, hey, I really love your videos. I really love that you just get straight to the point and they're short and they're not just like 45 minutes long. So I'm really trying to make them short and concise and straight to the point for you guys. Please make sure that you join me on my free masterclass. You can sign up for the link down below in the comments and in the description box. there we'll be able to actually kind of talk and say, hey, what's going on with you? And I'll teach you a whole lot more. We're going to dive deeper into a lot of different things. And make sure you're on my email list as well. Head over to my website, grab the free supplement guide. There's a free fertility boosting guide there as well. So grab those things, get on my email list. I have a lot of free things coming to you over the next few months. So make sure you're on that, and I'll see you later. Bye, ladies.